Welcome in and welcome back to the Down South Philly show. Hey, I'm hyped. I'm hyped for this one. It's been a nice relaxing bye week. We've been able to kick our feet up. Uh, we won the bye week. If you could win a bye week, man, this is definitely what a time to be an Eagles fan. It was good.
What's going on with you?
Man, I'm feeling refreshed, nice and rested. They had my
Mm,
feet kicked up
mm-hmm.
while the rest of the NFC in shambles.
Yep.
Man, if you could have this, and we talked about it all, but this got to be one of the best bye weeks ever as an Eagles fan. I can't remember one being better than this from the standpoint of us getting pretty much everything we wanted. Well, just about everything we wanted. Players getting back healthy. The teams we needed to lose while we was on the bye lost. It really just, the only thing that's left is us putting a mud hole in the Packers. But how you feeling? How you feeling after the bye week?
I mean, as of right now, we on the right track. We said going into the bye week, we had to be 6-2 or better, so we on track. We 6-2. Now during the bye week, um, only thing you could really ask for, especially where our bye week landed, right around the trade deadline. So if you're a team that felt like you needed some pieces, like we felt like, you want to acquire some pieces while you're in your bye week before that bye week over, and hopefully, teams in your division and your conference lose, and help you out while you're on your bye week. So pretty much all those things happen. Now, did we get everything we want from a personnel standpoint? Not necessarily, but we didn't sit on our hands either. So, um, I mean, it's pretty much all you can ask for as far as the bye week itself and leading up to the bye week. Now, the only thing left after that is to actually see some of this stuff pan out. But as far as where we are at this exact moment, this is all you can really ask for. And we put ourselves in a position where we kind of like for the rest of this season, as long as we do what we're supposed to do, we control our destiny. Like we at the top of the NFC. We already beat a lot of the teams who probably will be in the playoffs and jockeying for that number one seed or at least top seed in the conference or whatever. So um we put ourselves in a great position. Now we just gotta keep doing what we do. We gotta keep winning these games and keep putting ourselves in a position because we really, and then with the rest of our schedule, we it's really laid out for us to really get the number one seed because we play a lot of the top teams. So we can go ahead and be real. We can kind of x a lot of them teams out early. Now it'll come down to you know if they end up having a better record than us. But as far as anybody who is the same record as us, we can go ahead and X a lot of them teams out now.
Man, so obviously the last thing we talked about was the mollywhopping we put on the Giants. No game to speak of between then and because obviously we've been on a bye week. But I wanted to kind of give like some grades about some grades for the team from the first 8 weeks of the season. And we might as well start from the top. We got to start with my boy Howie. He already, had we really didn't have many complaints in the off season. Obviously, we wanted Howie to address the cornerback position. Ever since we let go of both Slay and Rogers, we let them both walk out the door. We kind of felt like it wasn't enough depth in the building for us to like just feel comfortable about going into the season. And then it kind of was confirmed when we get to the Bengals preseason game and see both our starting cornerbacks get mollywopped on the field. So we kind of in the back of our mind been clamoring, screaming for Howie to do something. and obviously he heard it, and I'm sure he was looking the whole time. So his first move was to go out and trade for Jacorian Bennett. Um, a lot of upside. Never really got to see what he could do because he just hasn't been healthy, for any stretch. But now we got Jacorian Bennett. He just traded for Michael Carter. He also traded for Jair Alexander, and of course the one that everybody excited about, Jalen Phillips from Miami. So it ain't really much to be said about Howie. Howie pretty much he been on a run. He been on a run for a few years now. But if you had to give Howie a grade through the first 8 weeks of the season, what we giving Howie?
Well, I'll say this: if I had to give him a grade just through the first 8 weeks, it'd be a different grade versus the total tally of this season. So if I got to just grade him on the first 8 weeks of the season, I probably would have to give him probably had to give him an A just from the standpoint of he hasn't stopped trying to do now. Sometimes whether them trades pan out or not, it's not really on you. But if you look at the positions he been trying to address and aggressively, like he been making trades since right before the season started.
Mhm.
So just from his aggressiveness and him just trying to do all he can do for this team versus a lot of other teams not doing the same. In that aspect, I would have to give him an A. Is like, I mean, if anything, a B plus at the least. Just maybe if you want to base it on what the talent has necessarily done so far, but just from a GM doing what they supposed to do and doing it as aggressive as Howie, I had to give him an A. Now, if I had to give him a grade on like the totality of like since the season started at the end of last season, I probably had to give him like a B.
Yeah, I could agree with that. He's pretty much, even if a move hasn't necessarily panned out how we wanted it to, he's at least addressed the deficiency in a way. So that's really all you can ask for. Like you said, whether they pan out or not ain't up to the general manager. It's really about addressing the issue and hoping that the player that you getting the best out of them. And that's really that comes down to coaching, that comes down to luck a lot of the time, and scheme fit. So all of that kind of has to kind of marry with each other for us to really know if the move panned out or didn't pan out for whatever reason. So I can agree with a B. Maybe even go A minus just from the standpoint of he actually tried to fill all the holes. Like you said, as far as actually filling the holes, that's a whole nother story. But he at least attempted. He didn't ignore it. And he still continued to be aggressive. I think he made 3 trades this week. So it's general managers out here that ain't doing nothing. It I can appreciate that. So we gotta go next on the list, Nick Sirianni. I really don't have I really don't have nothing bad to say about Nick. I mean, he pretty much do what he always do. Rallying the troops. I do kind of wonder how much or how little he had to do with the situation with AJ Brown, because he been kind of chatty, but at the same time we still been pretty much winning. So I'm sure he had something to do with kind of trying to at least put a cap on what AJ been doing behind closed doors. But if I had to give Nick a grade, I had to go with A with that too, just from the standpoint of he had to deal with a new offensive coordinator, um, some injuries coming into the season when it comes to uh, the offensive line being banged up, AJ with all his issues, and coming in with like one of the hardest schedules. So that 4 game stretch in the beginning can't go unnoticed and it can't go unmentioned, because if we don't hit the ground running at 4-0, who knows what our record could look like, and that could potentially spiral into something that we don't want it to be. So I'm gonna have to give Nick an A too.
Yeah, I agree. I would give him an A as well. I don't really know nothing else you could really kind of ask out of Nick.
Mm-mm.
he, like you say, been doing what he always done. Basically set us up for success as far as from his job standpoint. Um, he haven't written. I also can't think of too many instances where I feel like, because last year it kind of was like uh a lot of situational stuff during the game. It's kind of like, damn, Nick, what the hell you got? But we
Yeah,
haven't really seen too much of that this year. Now every coach gonna do it every now and then, but he was getting a little bit too consistent with it early in the season last year. Now has he had his spots here and there this season? Yeah, I mean every coach has. It ain't like this. You're gonna be perfect. So I mean, as far as grading go, I have to give him an A. I haven't really seen nothing. I haven't really seen Nick do anything bad this season. Nothing crazy. I mean, I seen him doing what he's supposed to do. Um, I feel like that Broncos game that we lost, we pretty much could have won. I don't feel like that came down to necessarily like something Nick did or didn't do. And as far as the as far as that Giants game, I don't think it was on Nick. I just think we just came out flat that game, and I don't think it was nothing coaching could have did to basically put more of a pep in them boys' steps. That was on them. Um, but he got us right where we need to be. 6-2 going into the bye week, and it's off a 2-game winning streak. Like we didn't go into the bye week like on a losing streak or just lost a game or whatever. So um, at this point, yeah, you have to get Nick a A.
yeah, we gotta get Nick an A. So for the next two, I'm gonna kind of group them with their team that they're responsible for. So we got to go Vic Fangio and the defense on this one. What grade we giving them?
I had to get a defense. Defensive line haven't really getting a bit. Now they've been getting pressure, but they haven't really been. They've been getting. They haven't been living up to like what we. You know what I'm saying? Necessarily now, can they get better as the season go on? Yeah, of course. But up until this point, have they been where we thought they would be or what we needed them to be? Probably like just barely. So, um, and then as far as the secondary, we knew we had a couple young guys in there, a couple guys we knew they weren't really worth a damn. So can't expect them to change their stripes. So I would have to get a defensive probably B minus. I had to give them like a B minus because they pretty much going into the season. We already knew cornerback too. We knew there was gonna be suspect. So
Mhm.
nothing wow in there. We knew Makuba rookie. We knew he was gonna have some growing pains. So the tackles that he missed and a couple of assignments that he blew, nothing out of the ordinary there. Defensive line, Jalen Carter kind of came into the season banged up. Probably also wasn't in condition due to not fully participating during camp and all that. But I think he's playing his way into shape. Hopefully, down this stretch, he where he need to be, and doing everything he can outside of that to get where he need to be. Um, yeah, I would have to get a defense probably a B minus. I had to give him a B minus because they could uh they could definitely improve in a lot of areas. And I feel like in a lot of situations, even as a whole, is right there. And Fangio, I think Fangio been same thing with Fangio. I think Fangio been Fangio. Like he can't make the guys execute, but he definitely putting them in position to execute. It's been like I said, blown coverages and missed tackles. But as far as him calling defense, how he's supposed to call it and putting guys in the right places, man, he was on point with putting the Kobe Dean back in at linebacker. He knew immediately, hey, if I put you in back in at linebacker, I know what you gonna do. And we was kind of deficient, so we was able to move Campbell down, play a little bit on the edges and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I think Fangio's been Fangio. But as a whole, I had to give him like a B minus. But they trend they look like they might be trending up.
Yeah, I can't be too hard on the defense because they didn't been the reason we didn't won a good bit of these games. Because
Yeah.
if I can think back to the Kansas City game, they came up with the big turnover, Makuba grabbing that interception. Um, Special teams, which is kind of defense, but not really. They came up with, a couple huge blocks, a couple huge field goal blocks to win the game for us and
Jihad
seal that one. Jihad Campbell came up with
interception.
the pick against the Bucks. Um, it's been a bunch of instances. Like even in the game against Denver that we lost, like defense was shutting them out for 3 quarters. We just didn't do enough offensively to put the game away. So I mean,
Mhm.
for the most part, I say our defense. The only thing that I have, if I had anything to kind of to poke at or pride at, it would be the run defense being a little leaky, and even that's been better since we've inserted N'Kobe Dean back into the lineup, because from a play recognition standpoint, he just see it faster and is able to react faster than Jahad Campbell. Not that Jahad been bad, it's just it's
Yeah,
d- it's clearly different. It's a clear difference when a vet is in there versus a rookie. So we already knew what we was gonna get out of the passing game this year if we didn't make any moves. So considering the fact that we still for the better part of 8 weeks been trotting Ringo and Adoree Jackson out there, and still finding ways to not give up 500 yards passing with no pass rush is pretty impressive. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get shoot. Considering that, now I'm gonna give it a B plus. I gotta give Vic in the defense a B plus, and still clear. We could get better, but also with our offense getting better, that'll make our defense better. So if we can improve offensively, that'll make our defense even better too, because they play complementary football. But with that being said, we gotta grade your boy KP in the offense. What you got?
Shit, I can't even grade them together.
All
Yeah, get them in
right,
their
so
own.
let's go KP.
KP, I'm gonna have to give KP a C, and I'm giving KP a C because play calling has been mostly trash. Now, what he thrives at is in the red zone. In the
Mhm.
red zone, hey, KP hell, and
Gotta
he's
give him an
not
A
hell
in the
because
red zone.
the offense executing, because it's a difference. It's a difference between, all right, we're in the red zone. He might not be calling them, but the offense, no, the plays that he's calling, and you can see the design of the plays. He's real creative in that red zone. Now I don't know what the hell he done had going on between 20s, but anyway, if somehow, some way we make it to that red zone, he get in his bag. Um, so that kind of boosted him right there. Now, what else I like about him is he has shown improvement as the season has gone on. He has shown improvement, whether it be half to half, quarter to quarter, whatever, game to game. He's shown some kind of improvement. Where he's been lacking at is putting it all together. Now I think, looking at these last couple games, you can see him starting to put it together. Now, going into the season, we already knew it was going to be growing pains. And the thing about growing pains, you can't determine how long somebody has growing pains. Like a lot of people wish it was over after the Dallas game. All right, you got your game out the way. Your growing pains should be over. We should be balling because we got talent on offense. It just don't work like that. And me knowing that it don't work like that and just not being like a dumb fan, like some fans just like want to be a fan so bad and just in they fandom that they just not up to par with actual reality. You know what I'm saying? So the actual reality is these guys need time with your people, your personnel, you need time with the quarterback, all of this. But he has shown improvement. He's shown improvement, but now it's time to start putting it together, which it looked like he's starting to do. Whether it's him or him in a collaboration or whatever it is, he gonna take the blame for the most part whenever it's certain plays called and how the offense is looking. So now um what else he's done well? It seems like he communicates well with the offense and with Jalen Hurts. Like he take a lot of stuff that they say into consideration. Hey, I'm seeing this. I think we should do that or whatever. It looks like he's really listening to these guys, which is what you want from your offense anyway. You want them to communicate with you. You want them to tell you what they seeing on the field because they the ones on the field. They the one doing it. You just calling the plays. So he's doing well with communicating with the offense, building with the offense. So I would have to get KP a C, because he got his spots and it's stuff that he good at, stuff that he bad at, and he's trending in the right direction. So with that being said, I have to give him a solid C.
Yeah, we gonna have to tap him on the head with that. Oh, you had
Yeah,
something else to say?
yeah, because I forgot we was doing it different. So the offense, if I was just grading the offense as a whole, I would have to get the offense probably the same grade. Because you got to think about the offensive line. They haven't been up to snuff. They haven't been the offensive line we known them to be, which is in return not allowing our run game to be the run game we know it to be. Um, and the offensive line is like the engine. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mhm.
what make everything go. If the offensive line out there doing their thing, everybody else gonna eat. Everybody else gonna eat. So the offensive line has not been up to par. Now they have their spots. And they seem to be trending in the right direction. Whether it's guys being banged up or whatever the reason is. Like I said, that affect the running the game. Saquon look like he's Saquon. Ain't nothing changed about Saquon other than offensive line play. Um, and then you start getting into like Jalen Hurts and the wide receivers. Like I said, a lot of that is affected by KP, who we just talked about. Some of that is affected by the offensive line we just talked about. So in totality, I would have to, based upon all these different factors, I would have to get the offense a C as well. And the only reason why I said I'm grading them different is because it's just so much that go into it. I had to give KP his own C, and then I got to get the offense their own C for their own reasons.
Nah, that's fair, especially because, like you said, the offensive line ain't been up to snuff, and they've been kind of banged up. But even when they was healthy, they weren't really hitting how we used to see a Stoutland University offense hit. Some of that can be attributed to, us being just coming out the gate rusty. Some of it could be the fact that we did move on from Makai Becton and Steen just ain't no Becton. And some of it is just, for whatever reason, them boys just wasn't up to snuff in the beginning. I can say that I've started to see in the Giants game, we started to see remnants of what they were last year and basically have been for the better part of 4 to 5 years. So trending in the right direction there. They had a week off. I think Jurgens was already out. He didn't play against the Giants. I don't remember if Landon played. He
He
might
played,
have played, but
he
either
played
way,
against.
he still okay. So either way, he was able to get a week off with the rest of the team. So hopefully them boys can come back fresh and pick up where they left off in that Giants game.
Yeah, Landon laid big time blocks on that Saquon run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And even Toth, he was big time in that Giants game.
Yeah,
Uh, you know, so I mean, I don't know if it was a mindset shift or what, but the whole offensive line looked better in that Giants game, and that was a good
I
front
say
that
this
we
too.
put
Even
against.
grading KP, a lot of making KP play calls look bad. Has some of that has been on the offensive line because he called some
Mhm.
good plays sometimes, and the offensive line just let him down. Now it looked like he called a bad play call. So some of that as well has been making KP look bad. So a lot of that stuff go hand in hand with some of it separate. So
Yeah. So I would say if we had to look at what's been the biggest disappointment, it would have to be a tie between KP and the offensive line.
mhm.
Um, they equal. They kind of go hand in hand because when we think about the wide receivers, I don't really have no gripes with the wide receivers outside of obviously AJ bitching, but it hadn't really affected his play like that. Just annoying. Smitty, he been getting off. Jahan Dyson, we already know what to expect from him. Dallas Goddard, he got a career high in touchdowns. So his biggest thing is just health. So he's been able to stay relatively healthy, and he's been able to develop into the red zone threat that we always knew he could be. So that's one thing that we got to give. Another thing that we got to give KP credit for is using Goddard in the red zone like he meant to be used. So the only other thing is Hurts. I feel like he deserves his own individual grade because he been balling this year. It seemed like he didn't kind of picked up where he left off in the Super Bowl and just that whole um, playoff stretch. His numbers. I think he like 20 touchdowns, 15 passing, 5 rushing touchdowns, only one pick. Um, just been making good decisions, smart decisions with the ball, continuing to be a leader on that offensive side of the ball, dealing with AJ pouting and still, feeding him the ball but making sure to not force feed him. So I say I had to give Hurts an A though. I feel like Hurts deserve an A for how he's approached the first half of this season. How about you?
I give him a B plus. I give him a B plus because no, it's good stuff and bad stuff. So I mean, it's been a lot of good stuff. The stuff that probably keep me from giving him an A is holding on to the ball too long. Sometimes he'll hold on to the ball too long and take unnecessary sacks. Not that all quarterbacks don't, but I mean, just something he can improve on going through the rest of the season. But for the most part, he been taking care of the ball. We haven't seen him fumbling a lot. We haven't seen him throwing a lot of interceptions. Um, dang, what else was I about to say? Something else that was in my mind. Oh, now this is a Jalen Hurts thing, but bro, you gotta feed the other wide receivers, bro. Come on, you can't just be feeding Smitty. You know what I'm saying? But he's getting better at that. It looked like he's starting to develop something with Dotson. Um, but he got to spread the ball around more. Some of that is KP, some of that is Jalen Hurts, some of that is the offensive line. He not being able to get to some of the other reasons. But regardless of the reason, I give him a B plus. He is starting to get into the MVP race, the MVP category for the season. With his lack of interceptions, his touchdowns, whether it be on the ground and through the air. He been taking care of the ball, which has been outside of even just like what you were saying with the defense being the reasons that we won a lot of games. Jalen Hurts taking care of the ball has been the reason why we won a lot of games. And not just that, even him just putting the team on his back in a lot of instances. A lot of time, if we need a touchdown, we could be struggling all game. When it's time for Jalen Hurts to get in his bag, he gonna get in his bag and take you where he need to be. It ain't gonna be too many times where he just pull a Dak and just start pressing and throwing unnecessary interceptions. He gonna take care of that ball. Um, so I would have to give him a B plus because I do feel by the end of the season he'll be A plus. When we see him go through this second stretch of games, Green Bay, Detroit, this is where you earn your A plus at.
Mhm.
This second stretch of the season. So right now I'm gonna hold him at a B plus.
And play calling is gonna have something to do with that too, because
Yep, yep.
it is a such thing as protecting your quarterback in some instances, especially early in games, getting them into a rhythm with easy throws, roll them out the pocket, some wide open passes. Just make things easy on them. Everything don't have to be a 20-yard pass down the field, especially when we going up against these better defenses that has a confident pass rush or a defensive coordinator that blitz the kitchen sink. So I do like the fact that we starting to incorporate Saquon in the pass game a little more. That's something that we pretty much been screaming for that for about 3 years now. But we finally starting to see that even more in this materializing in the touchdown. So I don't have no complaints when it comes to Hurts. And we only halfway through the season. So as things progress, we may see everybody turn the corner and turn it up some. But we got to get to the special teams unit. How you feel about special teams?
Special teams. I'm gonna give special teams. Special team had his moments. Special team has had some crazy stuff going on. Let me see. I'm gonna give special teams. I'm gonna give special teams a B plus too. Because we won a couple games, blocked field goals. We done had some blocked field goals.
Block punt for
Was
a
that a block
touchdown.
punt? We had a block punt in the with the Bucks game. That was a block punt, right? Yeah, we
Mhm.
had a block field goals. We didn't have some block punts. Punt
Some big
returns.
time
Now, we done had a
returns.
couple games where we didn't been looking crazy in the punt return. I mean not punt return, but I'm sorry, kick return. We had some crazy games where we was looking crazy in kick return. We had some games where we didn't kick the ball off and we kicking the people I felt like we shouldn't be kicking the ball to. We had some games where we allowing people to get too many yards, and it's like, all right, they got too many yards one time. You gonna kick it to them again? So I think what hell, I probably would give them a B, but what's bumping them up to the B plus is them block punts and field goals. But I probably would give them a B. But I do see them making a concerted effort after every game to get better at something that was like we wasn't good at the game before or whatever, or just seeing what's going on around the league and kind of trying to be ahead of stuff that's already going on. So I had to give him a B, B plus, somewhere around there.
I could dig it. And the fact that Jake been steady. Jake,
Yep.
last year he kind of started off shaky. Pretty much the whole regular season, he was
Jake
middle,
might be comeback
middle.
equal of the
Yeah, for,
year.
for real though. But I want to get into this when we come back from this commercial break. We're gonna get into our mid-season MVP. We'll be right back. Introducing Black Diamond Concentrate from Diamond Collection, a premium mineral supplement crafted to elevate your hydration experience. Formulated with no dyes, sweeteners. Introducing Black Diamond Concentrate from Diamond Collection, a premium mineral supplement crafted to elevate your hydration experience. Formulated with no dyes, sweeteners, or artificial flavors, Black Diamond Concentrate is 100% natural. Just 2 dropfuls added to a 16.9-ounce bottle of water can transform the way you hydrate. Order today at poweredbytmb.com and use code DSP at checkout to receive a 20% discount. That's code DSP. All right, let's get back to the show. South Philly Show brought to you by Sports Lounge Media. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Feel free to drop a comment. Give us your mid-season grades for not only the Birds, but if you're not a fan of the Birds and you just checking us out, give me a grade of your team. And make sure that you always subscribe first. Hit that notification bell so you can get notified whenever we go on live and drop content on a daily basis. But yeah, man, we got to talk. We got to talk mid-season MVP. If you had to give an award to the most valuable player through the first 8 weeks of the season, tell me who you got. Now you can break that down overall, or you could go offense and defense, whichever one you feel.
Damn, that's a tough one.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot of big plays made.
Offense, I would probably have to go. Oh, I had to go Jalen. I had to go Jalen just because of considering him not only what he's done, but what's going on around him. New offensive coordinator, AJ crying, offensive line not doing good. Yeah, I had to go
tough,
AJ. Yeah, I had to
tough,
go. I had to go. Huh?
tough schedule.
Yeah, schedule. Yeah, I had to go Jalen. Um, on on offense, really, probably if I went whole team, probably Jalen. I'm trying to think if it would be somebody on the defense who just I feel like was the MVP through the first. What we play 8 games, 8 games.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Jalen. I can't really think. I've seen people have flashes. Now, somebody who I feel like if they would have just ran off with it, like they were supposed to, that could have been on defense. It could have been Jordan Davis.
He
Um,
did have a nice start to the season.
could have been Jordan Davis. I can't really think. Makuba has, even though Makuba has missed, he didn't flashed a lot too, but you know, he had his misses and he had his flashes, but it hadn't been consistent enough to give him MVP of the defense. Like I said, Jalen Carter haven't really been Jalen Carter, but we kind of know why. I don't know why some people trying to make it seem like like I seen Shannon talking about some. Maybe they should trade Jalen Carter and 2, 3 first round picks because we Jalen Carter with the injuries, he hadn't just been what he was. Bro, this one season and it's only been 8. What the hell? This how you know when people just you're not a fan of the team. You
Don't
don't
watch
really
the
know what's
team.
going
Yeah.
on. You kind of just talking. Um, so, but I think down the stretch we'll see Jalen Carter be Jalen Carter, especially in the moments where he has been Jalen Carter. But there's nobody on defense where I feel like they just been the MVP. You probably probably Quinion. He's quietly just been holding people down. No interceptions or nothing like that. No first fumbles or nothing like that. But as far as just like PBUs and just covering guys, he would probably be the only person. But I'm gonna have to go Jalen for the whole team. I don't even want to get to nobody on the defense. I just go Jalen.
I'm gonna break mine down. So offensively, I'm gonna have to go Smitty because Smitty been balling all year. You know, no matter what the situation, every time we need a big time catch, Smitty. Even when the offense wasn't doing what we knew that they could have done, um, we know Smitty wasn't happy, but he ain't say nothing about it, and he still remained, solid and still made plays whenever we needed to, without the pouting, at least to the media. So offensively, I'm gonna have to go Smitty.
All that matters.
Defensively, yeah, defensively, facts. Defensively, I'm gonna have to split it up. Like you said, Q been a constant because we ain't never had to when Q healthy, we don't ever had to worry about his side of the field. Like we know we got to plug the other side. We've been worried about the other side pretty much since the Super Bowl ended. Um, so he been kind of that consistent piece on his side. And Coop been making some big time plays. I love the way he tackle. I love the physicality that he bring to the position, and that's another position that we don't have to worry about. When he in the nickel, we ain't got nothing to worry about. Even when he go outside, we know he not 100% comfortable out there, but he hasn't been like a huge liability when we put him out there, even though that's not like his position. That's not his position that he play. So I'm gonna have to split it up on defense for Q and Coop. And then overall, I had to agree with you with Jalen just because of all of the factors that he's had to overcome, from another offensive coordinator to a bad offensive line to a disgruntled number one wide receiver. So I mean, he's had a few things going against him, and we didn't play some tough defenses. When you think about Kansas City, say what you want to about um Dallas, they play us hard, and that was the first game of the season. So they was at full strength pretty much. Um, the Bucks, they always play us hard. Uh, Our first 4 games was tough, and really all our games really been tough, but we found a way with because one has kept his turnovers to a minimum, and still able to give us a perfect game, really 2 perfect games, and make smart decisions. So I'm gonna have to give the overall midseason MVP to Hurts, just like you said. We got a comment from Mike.
Yeah, hold on, wait. So is you going Smitty or Jalen on offense?
On offense, I'm gonna go Smitty for
Oh, okay.
offensive
You
MVP.
said something about
But
Jalen.
overall, I'm gonna go
I
Hurts.
got you.
Wait till Phillips and Smith line up. Carter
I
gonna take
um
off. Can't
I
double that boy.
almost went Smitty on offense, but I couldn't take him. I couldn't take him over Jalen.
Only reason I did is because I had multiple awards, so I can afford to spread the love. But Mike says, wait till Phillips and Smith line up. Carter gonna take up. Carter can't. Carter gonna take off, can't double everyone. Yeah, and I think I don't even really think it had much to do with that, Mike. I think Carter's main thing was that he came into the season hurt. So
Mm-hmm.
we haven't seen him even had a capability to. We've seen plays. We've seen big time plays out of him like we always have, but he hasn't been able to hit that motor because for one, he had a bad shoulder. Um, Probably was out of shape just like everybody else in the first few weeks of the season, but he had the big time bonehead move spitting on deck in the first
Yeah,
game.
I think
So
that was
he
the best thing that he could have did. Not played. I ain't want him to spit on that, but I'm
Yeah,
glad he did. And we ended up winning that game. Now knowing
yeah,
that he had an injury, which I already knew he had an injury, but the fact that he was
mhm,
playing in the first game, I thought he was straight. But
right,
like, because he didn't practice a lot in the camp and whatever. So I'm thinking like, all
mhm.
right, bet he playing in the first game, everything he's straight. But hell, when they said what he said, I was like, shit, I'm glad he didn't play. Now I wasn't glad that he got kicked out the way he did, but hell, if there was one less game he could not play and help that shoulder, shoot, I was glad. Knowing what I know now, yeah, he really could have missed the first two games, probably.
I was
Um,
I was actually hoping that he would have got sat down for the last 2 games before the bye.
yeah, me too. Yeah, I was hoping he was gonna be out them last two games. But he kind of actually he looked pretty good in that last game. So I think with a week off, I think he gonna have. I think his situation is, he gonna have to rest as much as possible, which is why I think it'd be great if we get that bye week. We get that first round bye, to even help him out even more with the playoff run. Um, but I think that's something that's probably gonna be kind of nagging him all season. Something he gonna have to deal with in the offseason. It sounds like something he did before camp even started. So I don't know, it was probably some training he was doing on his own or whatever, and uh messed his shoulder up. But he gonna have to do something, get it shot up or something, cause or I don't know, but we need you, player. We need you. But yeah, I don't think they really been like doubling them or nothing. Like, I mean, of course they still been doubling them here and there, but I don't think he really had a chance to be his full self this season. But I do agree with you too on the when Phillips or whatever gets start getting acclimated with the team. That's gonna open it up for everybody else. And then when Nolan come back, I don't even want Nolan to come back yet. I think he still need. Yeah, they opened his practice window today, 21-day practice window. I did see that, so I'm hoping that he won't even come back for these next two games. We'll see you sometime after Detroit. Gonna take you about 2 more weeks. Come back for Dallas or the game after Dallas or something like that.
I think this move to get Phillips buys us more time because we was kind of thin on the edges, but
Yeah, we probably
Phillips
still.
come in here, huh?
I said probably still thin. When we got to see what BG got, but we did just get BG back. I don't know what he got, and then we got Phillips. But that OG Larry just I think he
He
went
still,
on.
yeah,
He
I
went
think
on
he on IR.
IR. Somebody else
Uche
just got,
straight.
huh?
I said Uche straight and
Yeah.
and
So,
Jayless Hunt.
but
So
yeah.
really,
So
that's really who it is right now is
we'll see.
BG,
Hell, I was
Uche.
hoping we made one more move today. I seen somebody talking about go get Trey Henderson. I'm down for whoever they was trying to get. Go on ahead and bring him. DB, somebody on the edge, whatever. Hey, I was down for whatever. On the fact that we got Phillips now, I wasn't really trying to go get nobody crazy, but somebody's another solid piece, Trey Henderson, Chubb or somebody like that, or shit, I don't know what was it, Chicago who got Jermaine? No, the Jets. Jermaine Johnson played for the Jets, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so the Jermaine Johnson, somebody. But hey, I'm straight. We'll get a job done. But if Howie wanted to do it, I was with it.
Yeah. So we talked about who got the MVP, but what's been your biggest disappointment in the season so far?
The offensive line,
Yeah.
it ain't KP because I knew KP was gonna take some time. What I didn't know was the offensive line was gonna be booty juice. And I can't even say. it's being like one person. It's really been everybody. Really, the brightest
Mhm,
spot on the line, even earlier, was Steve. He was the only one who was
mhm.
kind of being consistent. Nah, he ain't Makai Becton in the run game, but as a solid overall player, he been solid. Um, Everybody else kind of pretty much been up and down. Steen the only one who really kind of been consistent this whole time. Um, even Lane Johnson, he kind of been up and down. Mulata, he been up and down. Landon Dickinson been a lot of down, a little bit up. Jurgens been a lot of down, a little bit up.
The
Um,
main two people that's been hurt.
hopefully, we this rest helped everybody out. And then not only did we get some rest, but we also was coming off the other rest from playing that Thursday night, cause so it's kind
The
of like we
mini
got
bye.
needed bye weeks kind of right around each other. So I think we're gonna be straight. I'm ready to see what we cook up in these next 3 games, really.
You think that us making it all the way to the final game could have possibly had something to do with us coming into the season a little banged up?
Nah, only for people like Nolan who got banged up in the Super Bowl. But no, because now if it was a situation where we was like the Chiefs, where we keep doing it back to back, something like that, now I feel like they could take a toll. But I feel like them boys had enough time to rest and stuff like that. Now where they decided to actually take the rest and they wasn't out here doing interviews and drinking
Partying.
and doing all this partying, now that's on them. But as far as just because the season went long, nah. I think for Nolan, somebody like Nolan or something like that, like he got hurt in the Super Bowl. I do think that kind of, got him. But and then he probably wanted to hurry up and try to be back for the season, which he really probably just should have took more time on even before he started training in training camp. Um, I even with Nolan, I feel like if Nolan wouldn't even have had Kane to camp and just stayed resting that whole time, I think he would have never had to get put on IR. He would have just came back like started coming back around game one. Like he really started practicing like around game 1 or 2 or something like that. I think he probably would have been straight for the season. But the fact that he came back and was there pretty much a majority of the camp, I think they kind of set him back. He should have just came back for the first game, and probably just had some limited and worked his way back into, some. That's something I do like about Adam Phillips, to the roster, even going forward. Like if he come back and I think is this his 4th year?
I don't know. I don't who? Phillips?
Phillips.
I don't know. Let me see.
So if this is 4th year, then we probably got him for next year too.
Nah, we
Um,
don't. This is last year.
oh yeah, this is 5th year.
Yeah, this a rental.
Yeah, so because
We would have to give him a contract if he stay.
yeah, damn, I was hoping this is his 4th year since they picked up his 5th year option. Then we have him this year and next year. Um, but what I do like about having Phillips, um, I feel like that's a solid guy that Fangio could, because even with having Nolan, it's like Nolan kind of the star. He probably gonna get majority of the reps. Having Phillips and he play on that same side, it's like you and Nolan can really split reps, and Nolan ain't even got to be out there a lot. Um, so I think that'll take some pressure off Nolan and help him, like keep him from basically getting injured. He ain't got to be out there a lot of reps, especially with the situation he going to now. Even like I was getting ready to say, moving forward, whether we gave him a contract or we get somebody else who is just as good as Nolan or better or whatever to help him, not have to be on the field as much. Because Nolan probably still need to put on a little bit more size, like as his career go on. Like they ain't something you can do in one off season, but as he starting to mature and grow into his body, and start to put on more size. But right now, I would like to have somebody that compliment him very well, and it don't even really matter if he off the field or not. So, and Phillips could be that guy. But I do like that about having Phillips for the rest of the season. So hopefully everybody stay healthy and we can see how that pan out.
Yeah, I didn't realize how big Phillips was. Like he like prototypical DN. Like he not a I wouldn't say he a linebacker at all. He built like Sweat, 6'5", 260, 270, a real edge rusher. Nolan kind of light, but he just strong. And I think that's probably why he end up with some of the injuries that he end up with, is just because he gotta overcompensate for the fact that he really, a linebacker that's out there, going against offensive linemen, but he's so strong that you forget how light he actually is. But he be coming around that edge. So I like the addition of Phillips just like everybody else. But I think, like you said, it's gonna give Nolan a chance to sub in and out more. I think it's just gonna make the rotation better all together. But we kind of talked about our grades of the team, but we couldn't get out of here without talking about our upcoming matchup against Green Bay Packers. So it kind of feel like they almost one of them teams that's in the division because we play them every year. And it seems like more times than not we get the best of them for whatever reason. Um, so they just coming off of a loss, devastating loss where the Carolina Panthers beat them up at home. Rico Dowdle went for 130 on them, 2 tubs. Um, they just suffered a huge loss to Tucker Craft. He was getting off this year too.
Man, he
At the
was
tight
eating.
end, he was eating. So I know it's gonna be hard for them to replace him. Especially with what type of impact he was having. So he gone for the season. But give me your initial thoughts on that matchup against the Packers.
I think it's an interesting matchup, especially Green Bay is in. I think they're in a critical part of their season right now. They can't really just keep racking up L's, especially not with the team they have and the talent they try to go get and giving stuff up for Michael Parsons. Like, you don't want to just keep taking L's. So I think this is a
Mhm.
critical part of their season where they feel like, and not that they just like on a losing the streak or nothing like that, but you can very well be on one, especially if you go ahead and turn around and lose this game to the Eagles. I don't know who they got to play next, but so I think this is a critical part of their season where they can really just kind of like turn the tide, or at least try to turn the tide. And beating the Eagles would be a way, excuse me, the way to do that, and it would start us back to shift the narrative and stuff like that. But I know they're a solid team. They always play us pretty well. Now we usually end up winning, but they usually play us pretty well. um, Great running game. Jordan Love solid. He can be on. He can be off. Really kind of just depends on that. Solid O line. Solid D line. I always like they wide receiver core. I don't necessarily feel like you gotta have a number one wide receiver. You need somebody who gonna catch the ball when you throw it to him. I like the wide receiver core. I like they got a lot of solid guys. It's like I'm saying, you got a lot of solid guys to throw the ball to. You ain't got to try to. And I think, and to me, when you got a lot of solid guys like they got, you don't have to look for one person or try to scheme this one person open because you this the best guy I got. I'm gonna try to. Nah, you could whoever open on this play, I'm gonna get them the ball and they probably gonna catch it. I like that philosophy. Now having top guys you can get the ball to, that that's always great, and it's also hit or miss. You might not can't get the ball to them, and then what if you got another guy you don't necessarily like getting the ball to, and they take the other guy away? What you gonna do then? Anyway, um, but yeah, I like Green Bay. I like the way they run their offense. Green Bay, when their offense is clicking, is probably my favorite offense in the league, even over Detroit. I think Detroit do a lot of like little crazy stuff here and there, but just the flow of the offense and the sequencing of the offense and the play calling, like when their offense is going, for me is Green Bay. Green Bay, San Fran, and then probably Detroit. And then probably like the Rams or something like that. But um I really like Green Bay's offense. Now, like I said, their offense can be hit or miss. They can be stopped. Now they didn't went out and got Micah. Now at the beginning of the season, a lot of people was trying to say, "Hey, that Micah trade put him over the top." It's gonna be the reason why they go on a playoff run or whatever. But excuse me, I always looked at it as if like I seen the team that they already had, and I knew how I felt about them. To me, adding Micah put you in a position to like really kind of like beat all the other teams except for Philly. Like if you just talking about that one move, because we got Lane Johnson over there, and Micah ain't never really got off. Now, if you put him over there on Jordan Mailata, he might have a little bit of success, but he ain't gonna necessarily just keep getting off on Jordan and Mailata either. Now can he get by him 1 or 2 times? And he probably can't get by Lane at all. He might can get by Mailata 1 or 2 times. They got to be in a critical situation though. But to me, this is a 50-50 game. We could lose, we could win. I think we're the better team, but you never really know how the game goes. A lot of stuff can, you know, sway the game in either team's favor. I think we come out of this game with a win, but I do think it's a 50-50 game. Two solid teams. And this is going whoever win this game is gonna say a lot for your season. It's gonna do a lot for your season. So it's a the Green Bay a solid team. I know Eagles fans just expecting us to go in there and beat Green Bay, which we should, but I mean they can also win as well. And they coming off of L. That's just like what I was saying about the Giants team. Like the Giants, I ain't worried about if they coming off for a win or coming off for L. Green Bay is like one of them teams where you probably kind of prefer them to be coming off a W. You don't really want them to be 100% on the details and doggone. Hey, we can't lose 2 in a row. Now they playing the hardest they got to play. On top of they already don't like Philly because we just keep beating them. We put them out the playoffs. They got a lot they gonna bring into this game, but I think we can go in there. We got to go in there and punch them in the mouth first. We can't go in there and get punched and then try to react. We can't go in there and get down early. We go in there and play our game. I know we made a lot of adjustments during the bye week, and hopefully we go in there and all those pan out and we get the W.
Yeah, it always seems to be a good matchup between us and the Packers. Um, I think last year we played them the first game of the season, and then we was their last game of the season in the playoffs. But one thing about Jordan Love, he can make some plays, he can make all the throws, but he will give you a couple in the game. It's just up to us to. Hopefully he don't throw it to Quinion. He'll throw it as long as he throw it to Coop
He might
or
get Quinion on track. That was his first interception, I think. Wasn't that his first interception?
Yeah, you're right. It was because that was the first playoff game.
Maybe he can get him on track for the rest of this regular season. I don't know, but like you said, Quinion bound to drop it. So hopefully it's the Blankenship.
Yeah, shoot, or give another one to Jalen Hunt for all I care. Just whoever hands it hit, make sure you take it to the zone. But yeah, when I think about the Packers offensively, they do have a good unit over there. Like you said, they don't have a true number one wide receiver. They got Watson, they got Romeo Dobbs. Golden is over there. We don't have to worry about Tucker Craft, but Luke Musgrave is a capable tight end. Maybe not on the level of a Tucker Craft, but hey, LaFleur knows how to move that ball. Yeah, potentially he might be coming back. They did activate him. They opened up his window. I mean, but I feel good about this one. Just like I do pretty much every week. I think it really just comes down to us playing our brand of football. Looks like we should be relatively healthy in this one. We'll be getting some pieces back. Whether I don't know how much BG gonna play in this game or if he even gonna be a factor in this game. Um, I do like the way that Uche has been playing all season. He been so close. He been so close to getting to the quarterback. And if I can remember correctly, I think he done been robbed of some strip sack fumbles. But that's neither here nor there. I like the way he been playing. Jalen Hunt, he been playing okay. I mean, he's had the pick six. He did get a sack on Dart, so he continues to get better every week. Not necessarily where he was down the stretch in the playoffs, but The back end probably got something to do with that too, because they kind of work in tandem. So as we figure out what our lineup is going to look like from a defensive back standpoint, it's only going to help our pass rush and vice versa. Once we figure out our pass rush, that's going to help out the back end as well, because they kind of work together. Um, I'm excited for this being another week of Nakobe Dean being back and acclimated into this defense. You know, he's been able to come in, play a couple games. Now he got a week off, so he should be right in mid-season form in maybe a week or two. Um, Continue to like what I see out of Jahai Campbell and the rookies as a whole. I think the two that we see the most is Makuba and Jahai Campbell. Haven't really heard too much from Ty Robinson. I think that's just due to the fact that the room that he's in, he ain't really had a chance to really touch the field because he just behind dogs. So um,
Mhm.
I'm not tripping on that, but just from the standpoint of just trying to remember who's been kind of flashing, he ain't really had a chance to flash. So Makuba, like you said, it's been growing pains with both of them. As a matter of fact, they both got burned for a touchdown in the same game against the Bucks. But Makuba got 2 picks. He's made some good tackles along with missing tackles, so you can't really get too mad about that. I don't think he's done enough to bench him. I think we still should keep him in because I mean he in the groove now, so um, there's really no reason to take him out. I like what I've seen from him. Jahad Campbell, we already know what we're getting out of him. We don't really have too many complaints. As a matter of fact, I didn't even I wouldn't have had anything to say about Jahad Campbell if Nakobe Dean didn't come in and look that much better when he stepped in. I think it was a situation where just Nakobe Dean just recognizes plays on a different level at this point in their career. So hopefully he can learn from him. Maybe he can get some more snaps on the edge while we figure out that rotation. Um, Defensively for the Packers, though, I'm not too worried about the Packers. That I mean, obviously they can make some noise because even in the 2 games, so they lost 2 games, one against Cleveland, one against the Carolina Panthers, and I think they pretty much held them under 15. So, that defense is capable of stymieing offense, but also, that wasn't Hurts. That wasn't this offense. That wasn't, the offensive firepower that we have. So I'm looking forward to see what changes or what new wrinkles we implemented over the bye week and going, off of the win that we got against the Giants. So I like where we headed. Like we said before, the bye being 6-2 was already a good spot heading into the bye. But then when you consider the fact that Green Bay dropped the game while we was on the bye, um, the Lions dropped the game while we was on the bye, our whole division lost while we was on the bye. It really just worked out beautifully for us to get some rest, um, take a good look at the landscape, add some pieces while we was on the bye. So really, we at a point where we just need to put it all together and see what happens. So I say over the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll figure out what kind of team we'll have down the stretch, and we can kind of reevaluate after the changes have been implemented. But what you got? What's your prediction for this game? Let me know. Well, you kind of already talked about the possibilities, but what we didn't talk about is give me your impact player who you think needs to have a good game in order for the Eagles to come out with a dub.
The offensive line. This game will be won in the trenches. This game will be won in the trenches. If the offensive line do what they supposed to do, the run game gonna get off. Because I do feel like we could run on Green Bay. Now they got a solid defensive line. They got a straight linebacker core, but I feel like when we clicking, we can run on anybody. So I feel like offensive line clicking, then Tank and Saquon can go out there and do their thing. I don't know if Well, what's my other dog name? Running back.
AJ Dillon or Ship Dog?
Yeah, Dylan. Um, AJ Dillon. You know what I'm saying? That's a three-headed monster right there. So I feel like it's a lot of stuff we can really do in the run game. We really dig into the crates. But like I said, I feel like this game will be won in the trenches. If our offensive line go out there and do Philadelphia offensive line things, we'll better do what we want to do for the most part on offense. Um, Defensive side of the ball, same thing. Like I said, game be won in the trenches. If we can get pressure on Jordan Love, we already know what he gonna do. He gonna give it up for less than $40.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like only thing they really now I will say this by them having all the solid wide receivers that they have now, we kind of got to get off on the defensive line. We can't be allowing them to go out there and pick on Dory and uh
Ringo.
Keely Dingo.
Hmm.
So we need our defensive line to come out there and do what they supposed to do to make them guys on the back end look even better. Um, but like I said, excuse me, 50-50 game, impact player of the game, or I say offensive line, defensive line. I don't really have a person for this game. Offense, of course, we need Jalen to do Jalen things. Um, but I think this game gonna come down to the offense and defensive line. Um, and like I said, 50-50 game. We just got to go in there and handle business. Like even like what you were saying with Detroit and Green Bay losing, we can't allow that to go in vain. We got to go out
Yeah,
there
we
and
got to
take.
make it matter.
Yeah, we got to go out there and take advantage of it. If we go out there and win this Green Bay game, that'll be us taking advantage of all the spoils of the bye week.
Yeah, because remember when we lost to the Giants, nobody really capitalized off of that because they
They lost.
lost too. So yeah, we got to put our stamp on it by coming out and getting the dub. Um,
And
oh
we'll have some real separation with one more win. One more win, especially against Green Bay, we'll have real separation. We got real great separation now in the NFC East, but we'll put real great separation between us and a lot of teams. With just this Green Bay win alone.
this one and the next one.
Hmm.
Um, but what was I about to say? Oh, I feel like it kind of go hand in hand with what you talk about because if one happen, the other one gonna happen. But I just feel like this a Saquon game on offense. I feel like we was able to figure some things out in the run game against the Giants. I did like the jumbo set that we had, bringing big Fred out there, and what that even allows us to do in the passing game. Um, it kind of puts the defense in a tough spot. Do you bring that safety up and let us bomb you over the top with a one-on-one situation with either Smitty, AJ, or Dyson, or do you keep them back and allow us to go for 200? So I feel like that's probably our best key to victory. Even though we can give it to you however you want it, I think we at our best when we running the ball uh in a dominant fashion. So with that being said, I feel like this is a Saquon game on offense and defensively. I gotta give it to my boy Ed Reed Blankenship because he just seemed to always catch a pick or two against this group, especially Jordan Love. So he do. He ain't really been able to catch any interceptions this year. He has been, a key pillar to the defense and being silent. Sometimes being silent and unheard of on the back end is the best thing that you can do. So, um, yeah, I'm gonna say Saquon on offense and Ed Reed Blankenship on defense.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with it. I'm with
So
it.
yeah, we come out of this one. If things go the way that we see them going, it's gonna be 7-2, and that's a whole nother conversation. Um, but that's really all that I have for this one. If you just not tuning in, you missed our grade. Go ahead and replay this one, running back from the beginning. We gave our midseason grades for the Birds. If your team isn't the Birds and you like to give us your grades, go ahead and drop those in the comments. Make sure that you like, make sure that you comment, share this live out, and never forget to subscribe. Make sure you go on over to the Sports Lounge Media and subscribe to all of the channels in the network. We got Ken's Pat Talk over there. We got Prime Time Sports over there. We got Tea Time with Sarai over there. SLM Bets, Faithful Fridays. Um, Let me see what else we got over there. Can't forget about the Marshall Experience. So just make sure that you go ahead and sub us all up. It'll be much appreciated. We'll be right back in a couple of days for primetime sports. We got Thursday night football coming up. And I think that matchup is against that's the Broncos and the Raiders. So we got another divisional matchup. We get to see Bo Nix going up against Geno Smith. Haven't really had a chance to see the Raiders play this year, so I'll be interested to see how Genty is looking. Brock Bowers got off last game against the Jaguars, so that'll be an interesting game. It's family business, so you never know what to expect from that aspect. Denver is on like a 5-game winning streak, which I believe we had something to do with. Um, but yeah, that's the next time you'll see us is on Primetime Sports on Thursday. Don't meet us there, beat us there, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And as always, go Birds.
Go Birds.